Hello everyone, you're watching Campus Channel and we're here today with Leonard da Vinci Business School to talk about the MSc in International Business. The program manager, Jill TYNAN, is here, as well as Vaggie Ludinau, who is the International Recruitment Manager. They're going to take your questions, but first we're going to start with the pitch. All right, you have 60 seconds flat. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, go.
So I'm going to tell you about the international business degree, Master of Science degree done in Leonard da Vinci Business School in the Paris business area, which is a full-time, one-year full-time program, 100% in English, that deals with all the key business functions. We will start with strategy, trade and commerce, digital marketing and finance. This degree will lead to, for people who want to pursue their studies in maybe to specialize in one of those functions, or to have a generalist education and move on to a small business, run a small business, a business unit, even go back and run the family business, or start up their own business. So it's for international students.
All right, that's all the time we have for the pitch.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get to the rest later. Please remember to keep sending us your questions. They're going to show up right there. So we'll take the first one, and I'm going to let Vaggie read this out loud for us.
What do you mean by the French touch experience?
All right, what is the French touch, Vaggie?
The French touch would be, it's a specific way of management, I would say, that is typically French. And that we also find in some environments like startups or medium-sized companies. It's a very agile way of conducting projects. Yes, the ultimate goal would be to succeed in those projects, and we find a flexible way to run them through HR resources, of course, and also tools that we would use, like some project management tools as well, and it's very digital oriented as well. Yeah, the French touch, I would say, is known and recognized everywhere in the world, and we're here to promote it as well through that program and through the school.
All right, so Jill, you are not native French.
No,
so
I'm
what
Irish.
is the French touch? Is the French way of management really that different?
Well, for me, it's discovering the French ecosystem. Yeah, doing business in France will have all the specificities of the French personalities and what they're good at, especially good at, and what they promote.
What would you say the French are especially good at?
Well, I'd say that, well, in the digital section and the IT, startups, innovation, and going giving a thorough englobing the whole, when they've decided to set out on a certain project, going right to the end and giving a global view of the thing.
All right, let's take the next question. Jill, will you read this, please?
Yeah. What is transportation like between Paris and La Défense? Is it feasible to live in the center and commute? Oh, absolutely. There's about maybe 10 minutes between La Défense and the center of Paris.
Okay.
It's on the main A line of the RER, so that's very, very central.
Is it common for students to live in the city and commute to La Défense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And also around Paris, maybe also going towards the outside Paris and the suburbs as well.
And so, is it common for students to live in La Défense? Is it possible for students to live in La Défense?
It is absolutely possible to live around the campus, like 5 minutes walk. We have student residences that are very comfortable and very practical.
But it's in a business district, so I imagine it's quite dead at night whenever everybody goes home from work.
No, it's not, because it's a mix of course, businesses, but also it's a cultural place. So they have many events, they have restaurants. In La Défense, of course, you can find many students, so it's very, very dynamic.
All right, let's take the next question. Baggy, will you read this, please?
This seems like a very general program. Is it possible to specialize in a particular field, such as digital marketing?
Well, you've already mentioned digital is a heavy focus of the program.
Yeah, well, absolutely, because okay, it's based on 4 great big themes, and digital marketing is one of them. There are modules on, for example, mobile marketing, setting up websites, digital marketing, and data analytics. So it's definitely, it gives a global insight into how to run a business from the 4 aspects. But then there's a possibility to do electives and to choose subjects that will allow to deepen the knowledge in one of those, to specialize. And also through the choice of either the internship or the dissertation, it's another way of developing a specialization in that field.
So how many elective choices do students have? How flexible and customizable is this program?
Electives would represent maybe just 10%. So it's not the whole, it's really general, but with a possibility to specialize or to start specializing, yeah. So maybe 2 extra modules to specialize in one.
If someone was wanting to specialize in the data analytics that you mentioned, would they be able to find a job in big data analytics after that, or is it just an added skill that they can put to their CV?
No, they could go for that, because I mean, they're going to learn the latest technology, and that's what companies are looking for now. That's why it's a great advantage to do a course like this, because it'll be very up-to-date knowledge, and they can go straight into a job. Yes.
So you mentioned this is a new program at Leonard de Vinci Business School. Who are the professors? Are they professors that are already teaching at Leonard de Vinci? Are you bringing in new professors to teach things like business data analytics?
Well, there's a mixture of both teachers, permanent teachers who are also do research, and people from the professional side, so from companies, because we have partnerships with companies where they come and share their knowledge with us, and so it's both professionals and yeah, and then there's conferences and there's visiting enterprises. So there's a lot of different ways to, to get this knowledge from not just the teachers.
All right, let's take the next question, Baggy.
Why is there only 1 week of electives? Is that enough time? I think maybe you can answer that question, because we know that this program is very intense, very dense, so that is potentially why it's
in
only
2
1
weeks
week.
you'd have time to do 2 different modules to specialize. So if as it is, when you look at the for each theme, there's about 5 or 6 modules already, plus 2 in the week of electives. I think it really is enough to be able to boast about having a speciality in that field. So yes, it is.
And so how do students choose their electives? Are there particular electives that are more competitive than others? Do they fill up? Do you give preference?
Well, it's really depending on what their professional project is, what is in line with what they want to do. That's how they choose. So yeah, that's more of what they do.
Are there limited places in each of the electives?
No, for the moment. If there are too many students who want to do it, we'll make several groups.
Okay. All right, let's take the next question here. Jill, will you read this, please?
How many applications do you get? I see you only admit 35 students. Well, as this is a new program and we're starting the recruitment, this is more for VACE, but we'll see. We've no historical information to answer this question, but it's true that we will be selective about who, because we want students who have a coherent professional project it might be very different, one from another. We'll also be recruiting students who have different backgrounds, who have studied, gone as far as a bachelor's degree in different domains, even just languages, who want to go towards corporate jobs now. And so we will really base our selection on the different qualities and the diversity of people.
So what's your ideal student? Who are you looking for? What's your ideal profile of a student for this program?
Well, as I say, it's very large, so we're recruiting students who have a bachelor's degree, and it could be, as I say, just take an example of maybe students who are very good at languages, who've studied and speak several languages, and now they want to go towards a corporate career, and they want, first of all, to find out about all the different functions in corporate life, and then specialize in something. They're attracted to maybe marketing or finance or import-export, whatever. So that's one type. And then another type of student might be have done a general business course and want to go back and take over the family business. And then, you know, we can say that's what's interesting about this, and what'll be enriching about the course and the interaction, and, you know, to have people from different horizons, and it's like a stepping stone to other different possible careers.
So for the students who may not have studied business, will they need to have shown some kind of interest in business or demonstrated that interest? Do they need any kind of internship experience that they've done before?
Well, definitely they'll have to show an interest in business, and maybe and a project, because that's what in an interview we want to make sure that they have a project that's been thought about, that they know where they're going, and so that's very important.
All right, let's take the next question. Vaggie?
This program seems very focused on tech. Is that the main idea? Is the main idea that will for tech companies?
I think they mean will work for tech companies. Yes.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, no, that's not really the point. I mean, this program is designed to give a chance to people without any background in commerce to step into
to transition.
Yeah, exactly, into an international business career, but also an international career. So France would be the first step to this international career.
It's more,
and they can work in any industries after that.
It's having knowledge and technology that can be used in different aspects of business, rather than working for a company that's just makes or sells technology.
So for students who do want to work for tech companies, would you say that this is a good program for them to pursue?
It would be a good start, absolutely. And then I would suggest that they maybe specialize and do another year after that to specialize in more technical part of the job they want to go for.
So how would they specialize after doing after doing a master's? How would you suggest they continue to specialize?
Well, in France, there's a specialization master that we do, that students can do to really have more expertise in one domain. So that's a possibility for them.
All right.
Or else they could do an apprentice program where they work and study at the same time, again in a program that specializes in something particular.
Are those programs available through Leonard de Vinci already, the apprenticeship programs? Could a student do an apprenticeship while pursuing this particular master's?
No, can't do them at the same time.
Okay.
They could maybe go on to do this. But with the possibility to do an internship in this MSc, that would, it would be better to go on and do a specialized degree with again, working experience.
All right, let's take the next question. Jill, will you read this, please?
Is there student housing available at the school?
So maybe one for Vaggie.
Yes, not directly in the campus, but around, as I said earlier. So we have a housing platform where we do
propose a lot of offers for international students, so they can pick what they like depending on their budget, of course, and their style of living. They might want to share an accommodation with some other classmates, or have a single room, or in a student residence, or have an apartment from a private owner, for instance. So we do give them all the list of the available opportunities, and then they decide, and we accompany them through that process, of course.
So students are going to live near campus, or
near
right
campus,
there in La Défense. What would you say their average budget should be?
Near La Défense, it might be a little bit expensive. I would say around 700 to 800 euros. But if they want to have a room in a family house, for instance, in Besançon, they can find some opportunities from 300 euros. But if they take this student residence, they will have the CAF, this housing benefits, and they will potentially get a 150 euros discount on the rent. But if they go for this 300 euro, that is a cheaper option, then in that case they won't be eligible for this housing benefit.
So even international students are eligible for the housing benefit?
Exactly. This is for French and international students, and it's an allowance that is given by the French government to every student.
It's very helpful whenever
Yes.
you're a student to have a little help with your rent. We're going to take a quick break from the face-to-face because it's time for 3 words max. Our guests have 3 words to describe their program, and they get 1 phrase for each word to explain why they chose that word. So, who is going to give me the first word?
Well, I could start with the passport.
Okay.
Because to me, this would be like a passport to a career in your future career in business, and especially in the digital aspect and using new technology. So it's a way of having all you need to succeed in the future.
Very good. All right, word number 2. Jill, is it you again as well?
I was going to say the French touch, but we've already discussed that.
Yes.
So well-being is another word that would describe the culture of the school and management, where we're interested in the well-being of the student during its whole experience, year's experience, and everything, making the most of it and feeling good all the time.
All right, and the third and final word?
The third would be, again, it's like a stepping stone. Again,
You like these double-barrel words for your 3 words.
Yeah, maybe a stepping stone because the students will come from different horizons and will be going towards different careers, and it's a stepping stone towards this. They can have maybe a small amount of working experience already, but it's a good year where they'll be very enriching and meeting people and connecting, networking, experiencing.
All right, that's it for 3 words max. Let's get back to the questions. I'm going to let Vaggie read the next one.
What's the structure of classes? Is it normal to take 12 courses in a semester? Again, the structure, because Jill is the program manager, so maybe you can talk about that. I would say, it's normal to take that many courses. If you want to learn something, to take the most of it, then it has to be intense.
Well, absolutely. These courses are 18-hour courses, small modules. We could group them together and say we've got 4 modules, or more, 5, 6. But they're details which permit to go into different aspects of, say, trade, import-export, law. So different aspects, but gathered in 4 big key business functions.
So are students taking the same classes throughout the semester, or are they having small sections of modules, as you're mentioning? Are they doing 3 or 4 classes here and 3 or 4 classes there? How does it work?
Yeah, well, that's exactly how it is. We start off with 3, say 5 or 6, and then when they stop, we go on to other ones. And then there's also, I forgot to mention, a week transversal project where this Leonard da Vinci Business School is part of 3 sister schools. And the school students, they will work together on projects, transversal projects.
With other schools?
Yeah, so it'll be the management students with engineers and the internet multimedia students. So that's enriching too.
Can you give some examples? I know it's a brand new program, but can you give some examples of some of the projects they might work on?
Yeah, well, for example, a week like this could be dedicated to what we did in the past with working with Peugeot automobile maker, thinking about the future automobile. What, from the marketing point of view, design, advertising, production, logistics, etc. So there's something for everybody, and working it on all together, it gives a really transversal point of view.
And so what particular aspect of that project would the international business students be working on?
Like, again, they would be working on, say, with engineers and multimedia people together. Not just a special part for the international business students, but everyone working together, say maybe with a team on project management, or an aspect like target costing, the whole procedures, these different techniques. The idea is that they mix and they get enriched experience working with students and on different aspects of company life.
And when does this project take place? Is it after they've already had their semester of classes, or when do they actually jump into this project?
In the middle, right in the middle, because the semester of classes, well, it starts in October until March, so there's a couple of, a break for the transversal project week. Then, of course, there's holidays, and there's visits to companies, and all of this is all, this kind of, it's varied from one week to another.
All right, let's take the next question. Vaggie, will you read this, please?
The site says, you have an American-style campus. How so?
So what's American?
I'm not sure because I haven't been in an American campus, but I would say maybe it's because it's wide, wider than most of the schools maybe that we know in Paris. So we have 58,000 square meters,
wow.
which is big, and it's a very modern campus and bright as well. And we have all the facilities on the campus except the housing, the accommodation. We have 5 sports rooms, we have 3 cafeterias, we have a fab lab and music rooms as well, yes.
Music rooms.
And a forum for students, obviously, because we welcome 40 student clubs on the campus, so they're really dynamic and they need space, to express their dynamism, and the rooms are quite nice as well, well equipped, very connected. We have some connected interactive screens and things like that. So, and how do you call those chairs? Steel chairs, yeah,
where you move
with
around.
a table, integrated into a chair, so you can organize, those co-working spaces and, deal with your personal projects. So it is a nice campus, definitely.
So this sounds like a very intense program. Is there actually time to enjoy all of the associations and the sports rooms and the music room? Do students get to benefit from this?
Oh, absolutely. And they've got to. They don't have to, but it's up to them to make the most of their stay in France and in Paris, to meet as many people as they can, to discover maybe other interests they haven't had a chance to to have spent time with in their previous lives to make most of this cross-cultural experience. So yes, they do have enough time.
All right, let's take the next question. Jill, will you read this, please?
Can students in this master engage with the team at the research center and contribute?
So, does Leonard da Vinci have a research center?
We have a research center. We have 4 labs actually in digital modeling, business, and I don't know what
finance.
It is, and finance as well. We have PhD teachers working on that labs on research projects. Within the engineering school, we have a certain number of students going for a research path. I'm not sure if this is the case with the business schools right now.
Yeah, well, the way that they will be able to engage is through the dissertation. If they choose to do the dissertation, first of all, they'll be given instruction on how to research methods, to use research methods, and then to deepen their knowledge and to know how to do research. So there is that's part of the course.
So they have the option of either doing an internship or a dissertation.
Yes, exactly.
And then when they interact, they do get to interact with the research center team. Do they get to contribute? Can they potentially hope for their work to be published one day?
They can absolutely present their work to the scientific committee when they meet to talk about their different papers, and so they can definitely join in on that and contribute and exchange.
All right, let's take the next. Yes, Baggy?
Yeah, and we have. I was about to say we have also a business incubator that is, comes in complement to this that research center.
So students can actually launch their own business while they're at Leonard da Vinci.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the profile that we have as well in those programs. They come here because they want to build their own startup, and I think this is the best environment for them. And we have teachers and professionals specialized in that field.
So what exactly comes with this incubator? If a student says, I have a business idea, what are the next steps? What do they actually get?
This is the aim is to accompany them and to give us all the keys to pursue their projects. So we do answer those questions. What would be the next step? Do I need to find investors? How do I do a business plan? How do I find business angels, and how the project can start?
Yeah,
okay.
The school is a member of a group that encourage startups and incubators, and that they can present their projects to other people, to companies, etc., etc. So it gives them a good boost in their startup.
Right. Let's take the next question. Baggy, will you read this, please?
As a student, what has been the best thing about this master? Would you change?
All
what
right,
would
well,
you change?
So you're not a student.
Yeah, I'm not a student. It's the first the first year of this program, so I can't say really. But what the students, international students, like in general is the network that we do offer. This this immersion as well in the campus with the 3 schools, the transversal project, and of course all those job fairs that we do organize, the alumni forum as well throughout the year. So they have the opportunity to meet the alumni, to meet the companies that are our partners. Those companies, they take our students, of course, as interns, but they also provide jobs to those students. So this is definitely an added value to Leonard da Vinci Group. Yeah.
So this network that you mentioned, is it just for France? Is it for Europe? Is it international? How far does your network extend?
We have, I think, an alumni network of 6,000 people, so that is quite wide. This is a network that is not only national but international. So we try to focus, of course, a little bit more on the international aspect because we have created those international program designed especially for international students. So we try to find more companies that are settled abroad, that are providing as well job offers in English. It's not always the case in Paris, as you know. So that can be multinational, based in Paris, but also active, I don't know, in China, in India, in the United States, in the Middle East. So they definitely need and seek after profiles like our international students, either because they speak the language for the country they're targeted, or because they have a project in that particular countries, or sometimes they just have branches of their own companies in Paris abroad, or like, I don't know, Huawei, for instance, in China, that is also based in France. So
sure,
this
so
is how
yes,
we combine, you know, all this advantages.
Excellent. Well, the next question that we take is going to be the expert question. All right, Jill, I'm going to let you read our expert question here.
In your opinion, what are the skills not taught in books that graduates need today? Graduates need today to succeed in their professional career, and how do you cultivate this with your students? It's a very good question because, of course, the academics is important. You get the tools and techniques needed, but it's everything else to do with your personality, your soft skills, how to act, how to behave, employability, how to be sure to get a job. This is what we provide as well in this program. There's special training for employabilities, CVs, where to get a job, etc. And so, yeah, we attach a huge amount of importance to this, because for us it's not just getting students and teaching them, it's the whole after school, what becomes of them, where do they go, and to have a sense of satisfaction that we did a good job. And because yeah, so
what are some of those skills you would say that employees really value?
Well, soft skills like well, being enthusiastic, knowing how to communicate, to have a good relationship, you know, how to talk to people, being sociable, to be curious, to go get as much from things as you can, which is kind of the basic idea of this course. You get from it as what you want, you know, whatever. It's just up to you to go and get it. Responsibility.
How to work in teams as well,
yeah, exactly.
maybe, and how to become a leader, how to deal with management as well.
Yeah, management skills, cross-cultural, because we're dealing in this international context.
So how are you cultivating these skills in your students?
Well, through different types of activities, through you know, visiting companies and you know, seeing how behaving with in companies. We organize every year a forum for students where companies, there's 100 companies come to meet students. They have little stands, and students meet the companies, have interviews, speed dating, knowing how to sell yourself and get a good job, etc., etc. So that's when there's numerous occasions during the school life to improve on these. And this transversal project week is usually packed with soft skills, to improve soft skills, how to do a presentation, how to business negotiation, all of those aspects that are very important in business. Yeah, they're developed somewhere along the line.
All right. We have just a few minutes left, so let's get back to our questions from the students. Vaggie, I will let you read the next one.
If you are in Europe's largest business district, do we have access to local companies for visits and meetings with employers? Yes, so we did answer that question earlier. Of course, we have an ideal location, I would say, because we are in the middle of this international business district, which is the largest in Europe, by the way. So we have access to those companies. We try to develop as much as possible the network with, as Jill said, a database of 1,000 companies, which is a really big. Around the campus, we may have 100 companies around working closely with us, investing in teaching hours, in softwares, in machines. Sometimes we have in this Fab Lab 3D printing machines.
Conferences as well?
Conferences, yeah, we have many cycles of conferences about digital transformation, business transformations. So those companies, they like to interact with our students, of course, and pretty much proactive in the life of the campus, taking part to the events that we organizing. So they most of the time responds very positively to our invitations.
Can you give some examples of some of the companies that you plan on inviting to speak, or that you have strong relationships with that students could benefit from?
Well,
Altron.
Yeah, Altron, AXA, a lot of, well, banking, insurance. There's a lot of, depending on the theme. There's a lot of other companies prefer, you know, talk about the economic situation, business intelligence, geopolitics, and what's changing in the technology scene, blockchain, bitcoins, those sort of things. I just wanted to say also that there's planned to see the incubator, Station F, which is the French tech, which is very near the school. That'll be one of the important visits to a company, and others to come. It'll be a surprise.
All right, let's take the next question. Jill, will you read this, please?
I'm from Peru. Would I be able to stay and work in France after graduation?
Yes, you will be able to stay for 12 months more. You usually come with a long-term visa. This long-term visa gives you the authorization to stay during your studies, and you're also allowed to work up to 964 hours a year.
9,000 would be a lot.
Yeah, would be a lot. I know we're workaholic here, but yeah, and so that would be roughly 25 hours a week. But if you condense it for your internship, for instance, so that would be a full-time 6 months internship during that year. After graduation, then you will have the opportunity to stay. So you will renew your visa, and you will get this residency permit for 12 months to be able to look for a job and to convert your experience in Paris. So this is a lot more flexible. I mean, the visa regulation and the work rules are a little bit more flexible here in France that in some other countries, even European countries. So yeah, this is France is definitely a good option thanks to that regulation.
All right, we are almost out of time, so I'm going to give you a moment to conclude. Vaggie, if you want to say something very quickly, and then we'll let Jill finish.
So as I am the international recruitment manager, I will meet you all very soon. I'm traveling to India on Thursday, doing a tour to meet
all those fabulous students. Okay, so you'll have the opportunity to do a pre-admission with me and to give me your CV, to complete your application online, and then to maybe have the chance to be accepted into the program. So check our agenda, international agenda, and we might see each other very soon.
Excellent. And Jill, last word?
Just to say that, to underline that it's a very enriching experience. It's a whole year of your lives. So we're aware of that, and we attach individual coaching and helping to prepare your future careers. And so that's, again, one of the important things for us.
Excellent.
Success.
Thank you both very much for coming in today.
Pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again very soon right here on Campus Channel.